Professor Clingy just wouldn't go away. That was the last update that we had because we set her up with a former professor who's 20 years older than she is. They go out, they have a great time, and then things go sideways and it gets worse.
Yeah, so this all started, I believe, when she found the syllabus of her old professor, and then she used the number to call him because to text him. She asked us for help because she wanted to date him. A few years had passed. She's not his student anymore, and she was like, I'm into him. I remember how handsome he was. And so she wanted to go on a date with him. We reached out. We were successful. He did accept, but at first they were going to meet at like a coffee shop that was on campus. She was trying to get him out of that mind frame of her being just a student. So she said, can we meet somewhere a little off campus? He agreed. At first, on the first date, she wasn't sure that he was getting it. So finally she told him, listen, I'm not here to be a former student. I like you. And he was like, okay. And then he asked to go for drinks again on the second date. So then she was excited. Everything was actually working out the way she wanted it to until that second date came and she realized during the middle of it, she was bored out of her mind. And she said she couldn't wait to leave, basically. And then after she left the date, he would not leave her alone. He kept texting her. Yes. And then she had to block him eventually. And then he started sending her messages on Instagram. And so she was like, I think I'm going to have to block him on there too. And he is just not at all what she thought. He's not as laid back or as cool. She wasn't sure exactly what she should do.
You guys ever been in this situation, Mo? You ever been in this situation where you're working so hard for the date? She's making you work hard, which makes you want her more, right? And then you actually get the date, you go on it, and you realize in 10 minutes, like, I have so wasted my time here, and this is never going to work.
All that energy, all that effort, and it just wasn't worth it at all. Yeah, I've been there.
All right, so the update. What have I done is what she says. I had no idea he would be like this. Honestly, he seems so cool and so laid back. He went from that to psycho in one date. Last I told you, he would not stop texting, so I had to block his number. Well, that wasn't good enough because then I started getting messages on all my social media pages. I tried to politely respond. I told him I realized we may not have as much in common as I thought, but I wished him well. The next day, I got to the office and walked in the lobby, and he was there. It was 7:45 in the morning. I was startled. He said he knew he had to get there early in order to, quote unquote, intercept me walking in. Whoa. Then he asked for just a few minutes to talk. I felt concerned, so I agreed. All right, now this is getting kind of serious. He told me that he felt hurt by the comment that we didn't have a lot in common. Then he went down an entire list of all the things he assumed I was interested in after having scrolled through all of my social media. He mentioned movies, TV shows, places I've traveled, problems I've had with family, etc. I admit he came up with a lot that we had in common, but I still had no interest in going out again. I asked him to leave. He said he wouldn't until I agreed to go to lunch with him that day. I said no. He said he would sit in the lobby and wait. Apparently, another woman was eavesdropping and called security.
What?
I immediately got in the elevator and let security escort him out. Later that afternoon, I got flowers from him.
Whoa.
My male coworker called him and left a voicemail saying we were dating and not to contact me again. Later that evening, I had my coworker walk me to my car. There was a note on my windshield asking me to call him. I was creeped out again. So I had my best friend's husband pretend to be a police officer and said that I had filed a complaint and he is not to contact me ever again. I don't know if that's even a thing you can do for real, but it seemed to work. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that he stays away. It sounds like it's right out of a movie.
It does.
I'd be freaked.
That's scary.
I'm so happy that woman was eavesdropping and just called security. Like, that's so awesome. Sometimes we as women need to be eavesdropping a little bit more. I know people are like, don't gossip, don't eavesdrop, it's rude. But that's how, like, you see something and you say something and you can save another woman from a really awkward situation that she's being too accommodating to get herself out of.
I don't know what else he had. Like, where is the line for her to say, okay, now I have to go to the police? Because to me, he's tap dancing real close to it right now.
If he shows up again, I think she definitely should go to the police.
Really?
Yeah.
I think so.
If he ends up in the lobby, then this is a really serious type thing right here. You just never know.
If you were at my job, I'd already be at the police station. I mean, I'm glad she had a police officer reach out to him and say we filed a complaint, but I would actually look into going and getting a temporary restraining order. You have to know so much information about the other person.
Right.
You have to basically stalk them
That's right.
to
This
say that
happened
they're
to-
stalking you.
This happened to you, right?
Yeah, it's so stupid.
The Bert Show.